So before we get into this very special episode, I want to give you a very special invitation. If you're not quite where you want to be in your business, I invite you to come as my guest and check out our next Momentum Mentorship Accountability Group. All you need to do is send me an email to marshall@marshallstern.net. That's marshall@marshallstern.net, and we'll get you signed up for our next group session. Now, sit back and enjoy this special episode on business and life lessons from a lifeguard. Enjoy. Hi, I'm Marshall Stern, and I've spent over 35 years leading and growing multiple small businesses. I know firsthand the struggles of entrepreneurship, feeling isolated, lonely, overwhelmed, and feeling like you have to do it all by yourself. I've been through multiple recessions, and I have felt the highs and the lows. I've been there, and I get it. This podcast is here to change that. Every week, I will bring you straight talking advice, real-world strategies, and honest conversations about what it takes to succeed in business without the fluff, the gimmicks, or the sugarcoating. If you're ready to stop spinning your wheels and start making real progress, then you are in the right place. This is the Stern Truth. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Stern Truth Business Unfiltered. And today I want to share with you probably the single most transformational moment in my life when it came to leadership and how it changed my view on what being a leader was. I'm going to tell you a story. Before I get into the story, I want you to really listen to the story. Whether you're a small business owner who has employees, or you're thinking about having employees and you're just a solopreneur right now, you're going to find not just value from this episode, but I think there's going to be some really strong, juicy gold nuggets that you can take and apply in your business right now, even just for yourself. If you have employees, even more so for them. So grab a piece of paper and a pen and really listen to the story. Because I find too many business owners, like we talked about in episode 2, why marketing can fail you, too many business owners spend all this money on sales and marketing activities to attract their clients, and then they lose them at some point through the process once they've attracted them because their clients or the prospects are trying to open the door, whether it's an online shop or a website or a physical bricks and mortar business, and the door's not opening, or the people who open the door aren't friendly and they're not serving properly, they're in a bad mood, or maybe the front end, the customer service people are doing their job, but the product fulfillment people aren't, or maybe they're even doing their job, but then on the end, the shipping people, they're just throwing the packages or whatever it is onto your doorstep or to your business, or not wrapping things properly. And the service, at some point, it breaks down and you're not getting a really good service or a really good product. And what happened, but I think it was about 13 years ago, again, changed everything for me. So we used to take my kids down to California for holidays. And this one year, like I said, about 13 years ago, we decided to go and stay for the first time at the hotel was called the Hyatt Grand Champions in Indian Wells, California, just outside of Palm Desert, which is just outside of Palm Springs. And we get there at night. We sign them up. We find out there's a camp. I found out beforehand, and I had told the kids about it. My daughter probably was 8 at the time, or 7, and my son was 5 or 6. They said they would do it. My daughter, though, was a little bit nervous. She had a little bit of separation anxiety, but I said, we're only going to try it for a few hours because they had a half day and a full day option. So we'll just go, and you'll go from 9 to 12, and you're going to have fun. There's movies, there's games, there's the slide, the pool, all that kind of stuff. Lots of activities, keep you busy. And arts and crafts and all the stuff which she liked. So I take her and my son down the first morning, and she's already very nervous. And we walk into the room where this camp was, and there's the one instructor. Looks like she had her hands full. She was signing, like, she had about 8 or 9 kids around her, young kids. They're all like below the ages of 9 or 10 or 11 or something like that. She's busy signing them all in. She really didn't even couldn't make eye contact with us because she was just so busy. And my daughter, in that moment, really got nervous and just squeezed my hand and wouldn't let me go. And I said to her, I said, your brother's fine. You're with him. Everything will be okay. We're going to sign you in. And then, mom and I are going to go hang out by the pool. We're going to go do this, but we're not leaving the property. We're right here and we'll come get you in a few hours. She got very, very nervous. And the instructor, it was just the one instructor, really didn't notice this because she was so busy. So that wasn't a really good start at the time, but it was all happening so quick. And that if it ended there, that would have probably altered our view of the vacation. The front desk staff was fine, checking in, all that kind of stuff. So far, so good. The rooms were nice. So far, everything was good. But in that moment, something could have not happened that did happen. But if it did, thing that I'm about to tell you, if it didn't happen, our entire trip would have probably changed. What happened was there was another employee from the hotel who was wearing like a royal blue, same as the camp counselor, same shirt, like a golf shirt, a royal blue golf shirt. And his name was Jose. So he had the pin and it said, "Hi, Grand Champions, Jose." He comes up to us, sees that my daughter is struggling. And he comes up to her and he asks her what her name is. And she tells him, and he kneels down by her, okay, because she's small. And he says, "Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Jose, and we're going to have so much fun today." And then he says to her, what do you like to do for fun? And she was talking like arts and crafts or whatever. And he shows her, he goes, "Oh my gosh, you're going to love it here. Look what we have here. Look what we have here." And he said, "Now, in order for you to have all this fun, and then we can see a movie and whatever, and go to the pool, we can go by the pool, you have to let your daddy go up to the room so that you can have the fun, because the fun doesn't start until the parents leave. But he'll come get you in just a couple hours, in a few hours." And she's still very nervous. And he keeps talking to her. And he asks her what her other hobbies are, what she likes to do. And he's like literally kneeling down with her. So he's at her level, meeting her at her level. And I was witnessing all of this. And he could see she was calming down. She was warming up and she was smiling and she was talking to him. And she gives me a look and he nods and he goes, like, "It's time to go." Not a big deal. I get up and go. He continues to talk with her. They're coloring. They're doing all these arts and crafts. My son's off playing. It didn't really matter. And I thought, wow, this guy's really a good camp counselor. Like, thank God he's in the camp because this wouldn't have happened. And it could have ended there. And that would have been amazing. That's the experience I'm talking about. He walked in to this room and he knew, he saw, he felt that there was a challenge with my daughter letting go of me. Now, yes, a camp counselor should be trained like that, and this is what their job is, and they're supposed to get the kids comfortable so the parents can go and have fun, and the kids can have fun, all that kind of stuff, right? So I go back up to the room, we get ready, my wife and I go down, we have breakfast. I think we went first for a massage or something on the property. We definitely didn't leave the property this first time, didn't leave the property, and I think we just hung by the pool. Pick up the kids at 12, they had a blast. We go by the pool after lunch, and again, and I see Jose, the one who helped my daughter get settled, on the lifeguard stand. And I walk over to him and I said, "You're the guy who helped my daughter. Thank you very much." And I was like puzzled. And I said, "I thought you worked for the camp. I thought you were like one of the camp counselors." And he goes, "No, I'm the lifeguard." And I said, "Oh, well, why were you helping us?" And he said, "Because I walked in the room to get something and I noticed that you and your daughter were having a challenge separating, that she wasn't comfortable, that she was nervous, and I wanted to help." And I said, "Is that part of your job?" He goes, "No, I'm the lifeguard." And I went, I said, "Well, that's above and beyond." I said, "I want to thank you because my kids had a really good time. My daughter had a really good time, and they want to come back tomorrow for the full day." And he's like, "Glad I could help. They're good kids. They're really good kids. And we're going to have fun even this afternoon," because he was the lifeguard. Next day happens and she's fine. She goes to the camp. And in the afternoon, I see him picking up all these, like later in the day, walking around the pool, picking up towels, picking up bottles or glasses and food trays or whatever. And I go up to him and I said, um, this is part of your job. And he goes, no, but I don't like to see a mess around here. I want to just do my part, help out wherever I can. And I said, so here, let me get this straight. You're the lifeguard. And at this point, I mean, there was no one in the pool where he was lifeguard, so it's not like he was taking his eye off of that. He was alert of everything. I said, you're the lifeguard. Your job is to manage the pool, make sure everyone's safe. Yet here you are, while you're doing that, you're also helping pick up towels and bottles and stuff around here because someone else failed to do their job. So you're helping out. And before the pool even had opened, you're helping me and my daughter get settled because you wanted to, because you saw something. You saw that we were having a challenge and you didn't need to do any of this. And he goes, no, but it's just the way I am. I want to help out. So here's the thing. He was a lifeguard, not the camp counselor, not the pool boy. He didn't have to do any of this. Okay. So at the end of our trip, I'm going to wrap this up. At the end of our trip, I went up to him and I said, Jose, thank you so much. I want to thank you so much because you have made this trip so enjoyable for all of us. And I said, I just really have a question because I've managed people. I have a business. I've had a business for a long time. And at this point, I had just started coaching and mentoring small business owners. And I had just gone through some leadership coaching programs. And I said, I just don't understand why you're so different than everyone else. You're like, what, 18, 19 or something like that. Why do you care so much? And you're a lifeguard. Why do you care about everything? Helping here, helping there, where you don't have to. And he said, because I love this place. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be employed by this company. They treat me well, and I want to be there for the guests wherever I can. These people are here to have a good time, and I want to help them because I grew up not having this type of life. I grew up wanting this. I want to help people have it. I am grateful. I never had jobs like this before. I'm grateful for this opportunity, and it makes me happy. That, my friends, is leadership. We went back to this hotel for the next several years because of Jose. Now, yes, they had the camp, and he really wasn't part of the camp. He was the lifeguard. But every year we went back, the first thing we would do is run up and see Jose, who was still there for a couple of years until he had moved on. And we were excited to see him. My kids were excited to see him. My friends, you can hire employees who are really good at their job. They're really skillful at whatever your business is. But if they don't have the Jose in them, that's what they will be. They'll just do their job. If they have any contact with the customer or with even coworkers, this is leadership. If we can all just build a business centered around the mentality, the mindset that Jose had, I always say my definition of leadership, and my family always says, I don't understand what you mean by it. My definition of leadership are the things you are doing when you don't think anyone's watching. That was Jose. He taught me that. He didn't have Big Boss Hyatt watching him picking up the towels necessarily. He didn't have his big manager watching him help me and my daughter in the camp. This came from him. They didn't train him like that. But we as business owners have an opportunity to train our people to be like Jose. These are business and life lessons that we can all take and move forward and be better for, whether it's in your business, whether it's in your own family or in your community. Help out, go the extra mile, bring people on your team who will do the same, show them the way forward, talk to them about the Jose story, because that's what's going to get people to come back time and time again. We can spend all the money on marketing, We can redo or relaunch our brand. We can go to networking events. We can do all the stuff to attract more clients. But if we're not treating them like Jose treated us, the next time we could have gone somewhere else. We probably would not have gone back to the Hyatt. We would have gone somewhere else just because there was nothing keeping us there. We were wowed by the experience by Jose, by one person, by Lifeguard. So what can you do in your business today to implement strategies? What can you do today to change the mindset of yourself and everyone else in your company, or as you grow your company, to be able to give that Jose experience and to be the leaders of ourselves and of our position? Leadership isn't a title. Leadership is a way of being. Connect with your people, with whether they're your staff, your employees, or your customers. Treat them like you want to be treated. Wow them. Give them an experience, give them a reason to come back. That's how we build long-term sustainable businesses. Love to hear your thoughts below. Please share and comment. We'll see you again next week.
Thank you so much for tuning in to The Starting Tree. If you found today's episode helpful, we would love to hear from you. Please like, share, and leave us a review. Also, if you'd like to be a guest in an upcoming episode or join us in one of our Momentum Accountability Group sessions, simply email me to marshall@marshallstern.net. That's marshallstern.net. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Until next time, keep pushing forward and leading with confidence.